Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the AskRebecca radio show. Thank you for joining me. As you know, March's theme is 5 ways to love yourself. The first week, I discussed the importance of loving yourself by starting with forgiving yourself. The second week, we discussed self-awareness. And then last week, I discussed self-care. And if you missed any of those episodes, you can watch them on my website, AskRebecca.guru, under the blog page, or you can visit my YouTube and Facebook pages as well. Tonight is all about self-criticism, and I'll be discussing how some self-criticism is a positive and can actually help you love yourself more. But I'll also be explaining how high levels of negative self-criticism can have the opposite effect and cause you to dislike yourself or even hate yourself. So self-criticism is defined as a negative personality trait in which a person has a disrupted self-identity or the act of pointing out one's perceived flaws. Now, self-criticism isn't all bad as long as you're staying within healthy boundaries. It helps increase self-awareness and personal growth. It can help you learn from mistakes and make positive changes in your life. Some examples of healthy self-criticism would be things like, oh, I shouldn't have stayed out all night partying because I have to go to work, so I definitely don't want to do that again. Lesson learned. Or I shouldn't have lost my temper with my coworker, or I really shouldn't be drinking and driving because I could kill someone or myself. So you get the point. So it's more of a some kind of like realization on some level. Now, negative self-criticism affects your self-esteem, peace of mind, keeps you from taking risks, keeps you from expressing your opinions, keeps you from believing in yourself, and most of all, keeps you from loving and being yourself. So some examples of negative self-criticism are things like, I'm a failure, I'm a loser, I can't do anything right, nothing I do is good enough, I'll never be successful, and so on and so on. So, it's that really negative talk and beating yourself up. There's two types of self-criticism. The first is comparative self-criticism. It typically involves comparing yourself to others and then determining you are lacking in some way. So, you may be comparing yourself to other men and women and think that you're, shorter, fatter, uglier than this other person. And that is a form of comparative self-criticism. Now, individuals who fall into this category will base their self-esteem on the perceptions of how others feel about them. So basically what that means is you're concerned about what other people think of you, and you base your self-worth and your self-esteem on what you believe that they believe about you. So basically, if you think your friend or your coworker thinks you're a slacker and you think you're a slacker, well, then, you're just going to feel like crap. So anyway, and not only that, well, you put your self-worth and your self-esteem based on how others perceive you, but it can also be or may be that you put others on a pedestal as if they're superior, or you perceive them as critical and hostile in some way. So basically, if you are going through life comparing yourself to others and you feel others are better than you, well, you'll be feeling really insecure about participating in most activities in life. And, you won't take chances, if you're not feeling good about your body, and, you have a group of friends that are like, hey, let's go to the beach and have some fun. And you really, really want to go because the beach is a lot of fun and you love it, but you don't go because you're too worried about people are going to be judging you what you look like in a bathing suit. That's keeping you from living your life. And if you're projecting outwardly like that and looking at other people in that way as if they were looking at you, and this is wordy and kind of complicated sounding, but more than likely, you'll also be very busy being critical and judgmental of others, especially if you perceive other people being critical or hostile in some way. So remember, everything in your outer reality is a mirror reflection of what you believe and feel about yourself internally. The second form of self-criticism is called internalized self-criticism. It involves the belief that you can't live up to certain ideals, standards, or you believe you're lacking in some way. In short, it's perfectionism. We're perfectionists. So even success can be perceived as a failure. For example, you pass a test with a B, but feel like you failed because you should have gotten an A. So it's, again, you're putting these standards and ideals out there and have these expectations of how you should be functioning or how you should be doing things in life. And, those are ideals and expectations and things that are very difficult to live up to, especially for ourselves. So either form can cause you to have self-worth issues, which can lead to chronic unhappiness, self-hate, and a bunch of other crappy feelings that nobody enjoys feeling. So how do we combat our own worst critic? A couple of ways. The first one is by becoming aware of or getting to know your inner negative Nancy or Downer Dan. Sometimes this can be hard to do, especially if you spend a lot of time in your head thinking nonstop. It can be difficult to catch on to subtle negative self-talk. If you have a difficult time paying attention to your thoughts, then start paying attention to what's happening in your life, because it's going to show you exactly what you're thinking about, what you're feeling internally. So it's a great tool to use to see what's going on. And I'll share an example from my own life with you. So just within the last month or so, my inner critic flared up. I wasn't really aware of it. I didn't feel like I was beating myself up about stuff, but apparently I was. So here I was beating myself up about things. I was feeling insecure about things I'm doing on this show and subconsciously stalling creating my webinars because I was busy comparing myself to other people's versions of webinars. So I didn't notice this internal dialogue at all. But what I did begin to notice were various people showing up in my life, questioning what I was doing with the show, offering their suggestions, and comparing me to other shows. At first, I kind of let it affect my self-esteem because I'm like, what the heck is going on? Because I was conscious of that, but I wasn't conscious or making the connection that I was criticizing myself on a regular basis over the last few weeks. So then reality kind of smacked me in my face when someone actually trolled me on my YouTube page on one of my videos and criticized the heck out of me. And that's when I knew I was struggling with some self-doubt. So since becoming aware of, what I was feeling and how I was perceiving things and that I was subconsciously stalling and, these little things, I was finally able to shift my perception, and I stopped pushing myself so hard for not being perfect, and I stopped comparing myself to others. I realized I'm not here to be anyone except my own unique expression of individuality. And thankfully, my life is back to normal. I have a quiet mind again, so I'm not overthinking, a peaceful heart, and a whole lot of love for myself. So thank you to everyone who showed up in my life to play the role of me. And an even bigger thank you to the guy who showed up as the version of me who hated herself. So thank you for the reminder to love and accept myself always. Okay, so back to another way to deal with your inner critic. Practice self-compassion. So for example, when you catch yourself saying, I'm not good enough, change it to, in most situations, I'm better than I think I am. Just practice accepting yourself. You're not here to be anyone but yourself. So just be compassionate and be aware. And again, if you start hearing that critic in the back of your head telling you you suck or you need to be doing something that you're not doing or you should be doing that, just take a minute and be easy with yourself. Just be easy with yourself. Now, lastly, start practicing mindfulness meditation. And mindfulness meditation is just allowing yourself to be with your thoughts and feelings without judgment. most of us are constantly running away. Like, we can't sit still for a minute because, God forbid, we sit with ourselves. We actually find out the things that we don't want to feel and we don't like to think about. So most of us are constantly going from one thing and lead very busy lives, or we distract ourselves with TV, phones, video games, whatever your vice is with that. So mindfulness meditation is a great way to start allowing yourself to be with your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Meditation is extremely powerful in cultivating self-love and inner peace. So start by going to bed, because I know the excuse is always, oh, well, I know there's not enough hours in the day. When am I going to meditate? I don't have time to be doing that. Well, set aside 15 minutes before bed. Go to bed 15 minutes earlier, or go to bed the time you normally go to bed. Put on some headphones and listen to some soothing sounds. There's tons of free videos on YouTube where you can get guided meditations, or just you can get ocean sounds. You can get, if you like crickets and things like that. I mean, you name it, you can find it on YouTube and you can listen to it. And, so stick on some headphones, listen to what you like, find something that you like, lay on your back, palms open, facing up, and then just allow yourself to relax. Take a couple of deep breaths and relax. And then, it's not about you trying to force yourself to stop thinking. It's about you allowing your thoughts to naturally arise and not attach any meaning to them. And, you kind of let them come up, you're aware of them, and then you let them go. So it's almost like watching a movie of your thoughts just pass by in that empty darkness with your eyes closed. So again, just allow them to move through and don't attach any meaning to them. Now, when you first start doing this, it could be challenging for you because our ego-based side of ourselves will flare up and it wants to resist. Don't give up. Don't give up. The key is consistency, and to keep practicing it and make it part of your daily routine, whether it's at night, in the morning, whatever convenient time for you, so you won't regret, you won't regret it at all. Like meditation, I just can't say enough about it. I meditate every single night. When I lay down, that's what I do. I basically meditate until I fall asleep. And it's always very powerful, and it's very relaxing and very soothing, and it will definitely help you quiet that inner critic in your head. So I wish you all the best of luck with that. And before I take a caller, let's take a moment to do a moment of Zen. We'll open up our chakras to connect with our higher self, to help us quiet the inner critic within all of us. So close your eyes, open your palms, tell yourself you're open to receive, then take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale out through your mouth. And then I'm just going to send you some healing energy. All right, now back to reality. Open your eyes. And before I actually take the caller, I want to go ahead, because I'm notorious for going over and cut myself off. So before I take the next caller, next week, tune in to next week's show. The topic will be Pursuing Our Dreams. It's the last topic for the month of March, to close out 5 ways to love yourself. So if you're interested in that, then please join me. And tonight, I am going to be speaking with Mary in Newport Richey, Florida. So I'm assuming you're not too far from me then. I'm not really sure exactly where, but I'm assuming.
I'm on the West Coast.
Oh, okay. So I'm in the middle. Hi, Mary. How are you?
Good.
Good. Well, I'm sure you have specific questions for me, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, I did make a couple of notes earlier today, or earlier this evening. I kind of just connected with, whoever the caller was going to be for the evening, and made a couple of notes, and I'll just go over them with you really quick if you want, and we can see what, what resonates with you and what kind of makes sense. And then you can ask me whatever questions you like.
Okay.
So I feel like you may be receiving a message or news in regard to money and finance. I do feel finances will be getting better for you. I feel like you're finally, you'll receive news you've been waiting on, and it's likely to be good news. In general, I was getting for you to look at how you're handling your affairs, to pay attention to like the mundane, normal parts of your life. And by you handling the little things, that the big things will kind of just fall into place. And I was trying to connect with your work situation and relationship situation, and it was really kind of blurry, and I couldn't really connect and figure out if you were employed or if you were unemployed or if you're in a committed relationship or if you're single. So I basically made a couple of notes on all of it. So if you are currently working, the energy felt as if though, you need to stick with working within existing systems and accomplish what people expect you to accomplish at work. That now's not the time to rock the boat if you are employed. Like, you need to just kind of wait it out a little bit. But if you're actually looking for work, the position that you need and want, it feels like it's on its way. And some of the advice that was coming through was, in interviews, you'll need to come across as dependable and even keeled. And so I don't know if any of that's making sense to you yet, but in a relationship, the feeling was a sense of responsibility and duty, and a willingness to like work together to get through the rough spots. So that's felt more like information if you were actually in a relationship. And then there was also this feeling of, if you're single, like there's just a feeling like you need to switch up your routine, or, where you're hanging out in order to meet someone new is like, it feels like it's the same old stomping grounds, and it's not really like the best place for you to meet somebody new. And then the last thing I was getting was that make sure you're getting enough sleep and you're eating healthier foods, and really just kind of doing some self-care for you in order to just feel healthier and just feel a little bit better. So you can feel free to ask any of your questions if any of that resonated with you or made sense to you.
Yeah. Well, I am trying to find work. I am on disability, but I am trying to find something to help me. I am a single mother. So as far as a relationship, I don't have a life. I don't think I have a life. I don't, I try. I'm not looking for, I'd like to have somebody in a relationship, but I really don't ever go anyplace to really meet anybody. So that's
makes sense. Okay, so you're just, the same old stomping grounds is basically home, right? So you're like, you're not actually going out to, you're not putting yourself out there just yet. With the job, you've been applying for jobs, right? I kind of feel like you're trying to figure out a way to do something from home.
It's sort of, yes.
Okay, so I do feel like you will end up getting a job. I think where the information, where I was feeling like during the interview process, to make sure that you're in the interview, letting them know that you're dependable and even keeled, maybe that could have something to be connected with the disability aspect and you being a single mom. So I
Right.
want you to, because I feel like you feel insecure about that in some way, right? I almost feel like you worry about that affecting things. So try not to put that energy out there. And when you're in the interview process, be confident and just let them know, you're ready to work, you're here, you're going to do it. And I feel like it will be fine. What's the connection with trying to maybe do something from home?
Well, I'm taking care of the elderly in their homes.
Okay. All right. So it's you going to their homes versus them coming to you.
Right, pretty much, yes.
Now, do you enjoy that? I kind of feel like, to me, it feels like you do enjoy it on some level, but to me, I feel like you take a lot of emotion away with that. Like you almost feel, it's challenging. Like you feel sad to see somebody in a situation that's worse off than yourself, and I feel like it affects you emotionally.
Yes, it does. You're right. I help everybody. I'm always there to help everybody, but nobody ever helps me back.
Right.
know.
Well, this is where you've got to open yourself up and, allow people to help you, and don't be afraid to ask for help. When to me, I feel like you could do that job very easily. And I feel like it would be something that works for you. But I just feel like it pulls on your heartstrings so much that maybe it's not something that you're not really happy doing. I was kind of getting the feeling of childcare in your home. So I don't know if that is something that's an option. Maybe, neighbors or other single moms that have problems with daycare, or having, you know, doing something like that where maybe you're being a child care. I don't know if you would enjoy that more.
No, not really. I take care of my grandchild quite often for my daughter.
Okay, so maybe that's why I'm seeing childcare, because like I just felt like you were babysitting a lot.
Yeah, I am.
You've got to
You're
learn
right.
how to say no, woman.
Not that I love my grandchild, but it's like, there's a lot, it seems like I have them quite often.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That's why I'm seeing childcare. Well, I feel like whatever job you are wanting to get, the one that you need, the one that will actually make you feel good and not, feeling bad going to work and pulling on your heartstrings, I feel like you need to just step outside your box and apply for multiple jobs. And I feel like there's one that you do have your heart set on. Have you applied for it though?
Well, yeah, it was a job that I had last year. It was working at a marina. But I got laid off only because the boating season kind of died down. So I'm hoping to go back there.
Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah.
When does the season start back up? Like in May, at the end of May, June?
I'll be, middle of April. Middle of April. That's when I got hired last year. And I had a good time working there, and they were good to me. So,
well, I feel like definitely apply there if you haven't already. And I do feel, to me, I kept getting May. So to me, there's something when it comes to work related that will happen in May.
Yeah.
And I do feel like that one is a strong potential for you to get. But I do feel like also put yourself out there to other outdoorsy things, right?
Well,
Step outside your box. Like I feel like you need to find some balance.
Yeah, I'm an outdoorsy person. I don't want to be stuck behind a desk or anything. And I can only work so many hours anyways either, too, with my disability.
Right, yeah.
So.
Right, because I feel like you're working under 30 hours a week. To me, it feels
Yeah.
anywhere between like 15 to 24.
Yeah, that's about what I can work. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So I do feel like doing the outdoor thing with the company that you worked for before, I feel like that will pan out for you. But I do feel like you also have some other choices. So to me, it feels like you will actually get to pick what you want to do. So just keep applying. Like I do feel that work is coming your way, and it could be where maybe you're even dabbling doing like the fishing thing and doing something else where you're making a couple of part-time hours. So like two part-time jobs working, what you can. So maybe like one day a week you're going to the fishing place, and then another day a week you might be dealing with what do you call it? I don't know. Do you like animals? Because I feel like you could be doing something with animals.
Well, yeah, I got 2 dogs. I guess I like them.
Yeah, it feels like dog. It's weird because it almost feels like walking dogs or taking care of dogs, or I don't know. Maybe it's something you'll be helping somebody else out with, because I know that you're a helper and you're a giver. So, but I want you to start giving to yourself. I only have 60 seconds left. When it comes to love, I know your heart is yearning for it, and you can certainly have it, but you have to get out of your house.
Okay, but where do I go? What do I do?
You need some girlfriends, and you need to go and just, have a social life a little bit where you're connecting with friends, and then it's a natural process and it will happen. But you've got to like get out of your house. Take your daughter, have your daughter go out with your daughter, or, in some way. I just feel like you need to open your heart and put yourself out there, and you will find someone that is compatible with you.